This is the Guam Liberation Day Parade, a big event in our island's modern day culture. But what events led us up to this day? A day filled with carnivals, fireworks, and mile-long parades all the way down Marine Corps Drive. Today, we'll take a deep dive look into the history of our island, so we can not only celebrate the parades we hold annually, but truly honor the leaders, troops, and locals that bring significance to our Liberation Day holiday. My name is Makoa, KAHELE, and we'll be going over From Ashes to Aspirations, the Rebirth of Guam after World War II. The Japanese occupied Guam starting on December 10, 1941, following the First Battle of Guam, in which the American garrison surrendered the island to the Japanese. Up until then, the island's American garrison only included 400 Marines, as them and Japan agreed not to fortify their Western Pacific possessions. However, after the Japanese occupied Guam, the island was renamed Miyajima, or Great Shrine Island, with the capital of Aganya being renamed Akashi, or Bright Stone.
The people were crying, and I don't know what was going on. The big truck is parking in every house to pick up the people to go and hide.
The local Chamorros feared for their lives, knowing every second the Japanese could come capture them. The Japanese occupation on Guam was brutal. Under the Japanese, there were beheadings by sword, mass executions, rape and internment, and locals as young as 10 years old were forced into slavery. One of the saddest massacres in Guam history was the Tinta Massacre. The Japanese forces assembled 25 men and 5 women of Maritso and force-marched them to the site called Tinta. They were told to get into the cave because the Japanese wanted to protect them from the American bombings. Once in the cave, grenades were tossed in repeatedly.
It's just like it's a massacre. You know, where they put these people inside the cave and then they throw an hand grenade, they just shoot them with a machine gun. And then after that, they all go in with a bayonet and start stabbing them again. Make sure that everybody's dead.
July 21st, 1944, the day the Americans fought back. This day marks the start of the Second Battle of Guam. Despite the obstacles, July 21st marks the day the American forces landed on both sides of the Arate Peninsula, planning and securing Upper Harbor. The Japanese immediately responded with counterattacks. However, the longer the battle went on, the more exhausted they became. By the start of August, they were running out of food, ammunition, and they had only a handful of tanks left. Japanese General Obata withdrew his troops from southern Guam and made a plan for all of his troops to hide in the jungles to avoid capture. This plan didn't work for long. By August 10th, the Japanese occupation ended, Guam was declared safe, and General Obata committed a ritual suicide up in Jigo. After the end of World War II, Guam was again placed under the control of the U.S. Navy. Guam was placed under the U.S. Trust Territorial Pacific Islands, TTPI for short, with the following islands of Palau, Yap, Pohnpei, Kosrae, Chuuk, and the Marshall Islands, all to be administered by the U.S. By the 1950s, the U.S. eased out of naval ruling of the territory. The locals began to forge opportunities for themselves with standards of the American dream. This period brought the term Guamanian, a term still used today. It reflects the new outlook the people of Guam had following the war. The locals pushed for rights such as education, with the first college on Guam being established in 1952 by Governor Carlton Skinner. Originally named the Territorial College of Guam, the college moved to its present location in Manilao and became the University of Guam in 1965. The locals fought for their rights. Although governors were still chosen by the U.S. presidents, that would soon change. In 1960, Joseph Flores was appointed the first Chamorro governor of Guam and served a 1-year term. Joseph Flores pushed for self-determination on the island, helping the community before resigning the next year. After Joseph Flores came Manuel F.L. Guerrero, the second Chamorro governor of Guam, who in 1963 established the Guam Tourism Commission. He also helped open the Guam International Airport in 1967, and the first flights from Japan via Pan Am arrived on the island. By the end of the 1960s and early 70s, Tumon Bay became the focus of a new wave of construction on the island. Known at one point as Pleasure Island, many high-rise hotels, condominiums, and entertainment venues were built during this time. Tumon Bay attracts many tourists even up to this day. Tourism is Guam's biggest source of income. This led to more housing developments in the 80s. During this time, U.S. Congress passed a law that allows the locals to elect their own Chamorro governor. Carlos G. Camacho was Guam's first elected governor, and Antonio B. Wampat was elected as Guam's first congressional representative. Guam blossomed to the island it is today through our local leaders who paved the way for us. The war brought political and economic challenges for our community, yet we fought through it while keeping our Chamorro culture and language for future generations. Locals in the present celebrate this once tragedy that the island turned into an opportunity for success. The Guam Liberation Day Parade still celebrates this day when Guam regained its freedom from foreign ruling. Started in 1951 with Agata Iglesias Johnston's influence, the bill to enact it was sponsored by Speaker Antonio B. Wampat. These two leaders paved the way for our community. A school in Ordat was named after Johnston, who was known for educating Guam's public elementary schools, and Guam's biggest airport was named Antonio B. Wampat International Airport. In the present day, we take Liberation Day not only to have fun, but respect our leaders and locals that have come before us. Guam's celebration of liberation is not confined to just one day. The locals always have planned events spanning for multiple days. Over the years, we've seen boxing events, agricultural fairs, bicycle races, greased pig catching competitions, battle of the bands, and even a circus. During the 60th annual Liberation Day Parade in 2004, the name of Guam Highway 1 was renamed to Marine Corps Drive, dedicated to the troops that fought for our island. So here we are, the reason Liberation Day is celebrated. Going on to its 81st anniversary, our island will never forget the hard work and dedication our leaders have made to put ourselves into the position we're in today. I want to say thank you to those who've watched this documentary and people who have helped me throughout the creation of it. Sizuas Mahasi.